So I have some good and bad news. While I was filming this, my mom came in and she told me that my videos look like absolute garbage. So she said my handwriting looks like chicken scratch and I really lack the use of colors in my uh, MS Paint drawings. So I decided, you know what? I think it's time for a change. And so the chicken scratch I can't really do anything about, but I will try to implement more colors into my video. By the way, that never happened. I just made that up. So now we are going to go over inequalities. And the inequality we have at hand is negative 5p plus 7 is less than p minus 8. And we are trying to solve for p. So inequalities are very similar to equations in the manner that you solve them. However, at the end, instead of there being only one solution, or like no solutions and all solutions as we went over in the past video, um, there is going to be a range of solutions that usually you're going to have to plot on a number line, as you see right here. And it's very bold and nice yellow. Okay, so our first step is solving this actual inequality. So what we're going to do is we're going to tackle it just like we would tackle an equation. So we're going to go minus 7 both sides. That red looks really nice. And we're gonna carry down the negative 5p, and the at negative 8 minus 7 is negative 15, and we bring down the p, we get p minus 15. Bring down the inequality sign. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is subtract p from both sides to isolate it on one. So we get negative 6p is less than negative 15. That gets brought down. That is a really bad 5. Okay, better. Now, there is this interesting quirk with... Oh, I forgot to use colors for each of the steps. Oh my goodness. But there's this interesting quirk with inequalities where if you divide or multiply both sides by a negative, you have to flip the inequality sign. So that's what we're going to have to do right here. As you can see, we have to divide by negative 6p on both sides. So, or no, not divide by negative 6p, sorry, just divide by negative 6. So when we do that, we isolate the p, right? This becomes positive, and p, as I said, you flip the inequality sign. So now it becomes p is greater than, and you could simplify this fraction actually, 15/6. Least common, or sorry, greatest common factor is 3. So it would become 5/2, right? Because 15 divided by 3 is 5, 6 divided by 3 is 2. Yeah. Okay. So now we see that our range of solutions is p is greater than 5/2. So how would we graph this on the number line? Okay. So we have our nice yellow number line over here, and we're gonna label some numbers on it given the range of our solutions. So we see that p has to be greater than 5/2. If p is 5/2, or if p is less than 5/2, that's not gonna work out. It's gonna result in untrue statement, right? So let's label our number line. I say let's start with how about, I don't know, 0, because we're not going in the negatives, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes on and on. And we can plot a point at 2.5. Now, because 2.5 is not included in the range of values, instead of putting a dot like we would with maybe, say, an equation solution, we are going to put an open circle. And I'm going to do this in light blue. Okay. So no closed circle, just an open dot. And basically you just color the rest of the solutions in, or not like all of them, but yeah, you just keep going and then you draw an arrow to resemble that it's just gonna constantly keep going, and that the range of solutions is anything greater than 5/2. So when would we use a closed circle, you might ask? And very good question. I was thinking the same thing myself. Um, if this were to be p is greater than or equal to 5/2, then you would close the circle because the range of values includes 5/2. So basically, these are the basics of inequalities. Um, just remember some key things like the sign flipping when you multiply or divide by a negative number on both sides. Um, the the open circle for a normal inequality and the closed circle for a greater than or less than greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. That's basically all you have to remember for like the fundamentals of inequalities. Next video, I believe we're going to get into and or inequalities and multi-step inequalities. So see you next time.